Naomi know that in the act of blessing and taking care of Ruth, that would overflow back into her life. She wasn't doing it to get anything, but that's just the results when you love people, take care of people, help people, support people, that there's an overflow that comes back into your life. Sometimes God will allow a tragedy to make your story and connect you to people that He wants you to be with. See, sometimes your destiny connection will not come because everything is good. Sometimes God will allow a tragedy to send the right person at the right time into your life, and your destiny connector sometimes may be packaged in something that you were not looking for, but God knew you so desperately needed. Amen? And I look at this story about Naomi and her connection with Ruth, and there was something about the life of Naomi that would cause Ruth to leave her country, her language, her family, her gods, and her culture to go into a new land and be with Naomi. And I want to talk to you about these characteristics because there was something about Naomi that made her attractive to Ruth and eventually would become Ruth's destiny connector. I need you to understand that a destiny connector is a person that God has sent into your life to bridge you from where you are into your destiny. A destiny connector, they may not look like you, they may not come from your background, they may not share the same cultural dynamics, but they are a God send into your life to help you to go from your potential into your purpose, to go from the place of where you were into a place of fulfillment. A destiny connector is God sent to help you to reach what God has created you to do here on the earth. Amen. And I want to tell you this, as God will send you a destiny connector, the devil will also send you a destiny destroyer. See, what you have to realize is the devil is a counterfeiter. He does not originate anything, but he counterfeits everything. There's a street in New York City in Manhattan called Canal Street, and it is the bootleg capital of the United States. You can find every fake Birkin bag, every fake Coach bag, fake Louis Vuitton. And I one time bought a fake watch from there about 25 years ago. That watch was so fake, that thing started turning green on the arm, would have sent you to the hospital room because it was so fake. And the devil is a fake, phony, baloney copycat of everything that the Lord does. And he will send destiny destroyers, whereas the Lord will send you destiny connectors. The enemy will counterfeit, but the Lord will always originate the purpose and bring the past and fulfillment, the purpose, plans, and the desires that he has for your life. Amen. So sometimes if it look good, smell good, and it's presented good, but it's making your wrist green, you know that you got the phony baloney. You got to throw that off and say, God, I want the real thing. I want the authentic thing. I want the thing that you have destined and desired for my life. Just because it feels good does not mean it is good. Come on, you better take that Folex off your wrist and throw it away, amen? Fake Rolex, Folex. Come on. And somebody need to take those Folex relationships and let them go. Ooh, Jesus. I might cut up a little bit today. You need to look them in the eyeball and say, did God send you or did the devil send you? Who? And depending on their answer to that question needs to determine if you need to, like they say in what's the, let it go, let it go. Let's talk about Naomi and Ruth for a few moments. The word Naomi means pleasant. I believe in the Hebrew, a name was a description of character. Naomi was pleasant. She must have had a pleasant disposition and characteristic about her. She is named pleasant. And I believe there were some characteristics that Ruth admired about Naomi that made her a perfect destiny connection for her. So let me give you three characteristics that I see see from this story with Ruth and Naomi that made Naomi a destiny connector for Ruth? First of all, I believe that Naomi, my sanctified imagination sees her being a loving wife and mother. She was a loyal family woman. In the beginning of this story, we see in chapter 1 that Elimelech, who is her husband, dies immediately as soon as they arrive in Moab. Now, what the text does not tell us is what disease, infirmity, or sickness that he had, how long he was sick. Did he get sick when he arrived there, or was he already sick when he was going there? And we see this tragedy happen, but for some reason, the way that Naomi responded must have been so admirable that Ruth saw something in her that was different from other people. We don't know if Naomi was a woman who had this sick husband and took such great care of him and had such love and admonition for her husband that Ruth was saying, wow, that's the type of woman I want to be like one day. But there was something about her as a wife and a mother that Ruth admired, that she was willing to give up her life to follow this woman. And I want to ask you a question today. Are you the type of person that has a character of such that people would say, you're someone that I want to follow, be around, or be like? Are you the person that people admire? Are you the person that people talk about and say you are the devil in Pradas? Oh, she just walked in the room. Be quiet, be still, don't walk, don't flinch. Oh, that brother with the anger problem just showed up. Don't make him mad. He will explode on you. Are you the person that walk in and say, my God, that's a woman of God, a man of God. Every time I get around them, something in me is like, wow. See, Naomi was that for Ruth. Ruth saw something in Naomi that she admired as a wife and as a mother, that she said, I want to be like that woman. The second characteristic of a destiny connector that we see is Naomi was caring and concerned about people, and specifically about Ruth and Orpah. We see in chapter 1 and verse 11, it says this, but Naomi replied, she's speaking to Ruth and Orpah, she said, why should you go with me? Can I still give birth to other sons who could grow up to be your husbands? This is after both of her sons, their husbands died. She said, no, my daughters, return to your parents' homes, for I am too old to marry again. And even if that were possible and I were to get married tonight and bear sons, then what? Would you wait for them to grow up and refuse to marry someone else? No, of course not, my daughters. Things are far more bitter for me than for you, because the Lord himself has raised his fist against me. There was something about Naomi that she cared more about other people, and she had a concern for other people's well-beings, even at her own expense. See, one of the things you have to realize about a destiny connector is a destiny connector will always sacrifice on their end to make sure that you are good. At this time, there is no social security, no retirement system. Her sons culturally were responsible for taking care of her in her old age. And now both of her boys have died. Her husband is dead. She has no way of supporting herself or taking care of herself. And these young women could potentially become her meal ticket, but instead of using them for what they could give to her, she says, no, life has been hard for me. I would rather you find new husbands, start a new family, and have a new beginning. Just because things have been difficult for me does not mean that they have to be difficult to you. See, because a destiny connector is not a selfish person. They are a selfless person. They are concerned about others. They're not trying to get their slice of the pie or what matters to them. They recognize that the pie comes from the Lord, and there's more than enough for everybody, and they're always trying to bless others. And one thing I want you to understand, that if you learn how to bless others, take care of others, that not be the first one to get, but be the first one to give, then God will always bless you because he said it's more blessed to give than to receive. And we always talk about money and that, but how about it's more blessed to love somebody? It's more blessed to serve somebody. It's more blessed to help somebody. It's more blessed to come along and support somebody. It's more blessed to strengthen somebody. It's more blessed to encourage somebody. It's more blessed to be an encouragement and a strengthener and a blessing to other people. When you are living out of the outflow of that, God will always make sure that there's an inflow of it in your life. It's hard to constantly speak life to people and feel death. See, the people that's the most depressed are the ones who are speaking the most depressing words. The people who are the least happy are the ones always speaking about sadness. But man, if you're speaking life, encouragement, strength over people, it's hard to not be strengthened, encouraged, and be life-giving, amen? What you sow, you shall reap. I want to sow good seeds so that I can reap of the goodness of God. Come on. See, a destiny connector is always trying to lift up, elevate, strengthen, bring you to the next level. Ruth 3:1 says this, and I love it. Naomi says to Ruth, she said, one day, she said to Ruth, my daughter, it's time that I found a permanent home for you so that you will be provided for. She's still looking out for Ruth. She's still thinking about, okay, I got to get her permanent housing. I have to make sure she has provision. I want to take care of her. Little did Naomi know that in the act of blessing and taking care of Ruth, that would overflow back into her life. She wasn't doing it to get anything, but that's just the results when you love people, take care of people, help people, support people, that there's an overflow that comes back into your life.